Whether it's background information or something your reader will encounter, every element of your story is very important and should be developed to not just give your story more depth and more flow, but to make everything make sense. And today we'll be talking about one of the most overlooked elements in stories, locations. So let's get started. Before we started talking about locations, I just wanted to remind you all about the giveaway that is still going on. You can still enter it. You can either go to facebook.com/enchapman or click on the link below to get there. The grand prize winner will win this lovely Fire HD 8 tablet and a signed copy of my book Loading Life just for them, right? And there will also be a couple more winners, so if you don't win the grand prize, you can still win something awesome. The winners will be announced at my online book launch party on October 3rd at 6 p.m. Central. I will give more information on my Facebook page and of course on Twitter. But enough about that, let's talk about locations. I honestly think that developing locations is the last thing people think of when they're writing their books. You know, you have it like, oh, I want my character to go here. Oh, wait, there's an evil villain there. Ooh, let's make it spooky with it being dark. And that's about it. But there's more to locations than people give them credit for, especially in books and stories where we don't have pictures or visual aids to give to the reader. Yeah, we could have a picture in our book or on our website, but it's still like, don't just cop out and have a picture. Actually write it into your story. It's going to feel a lot better and make the story a more in-depth story. The Novel Factory says that when you give locations depth, it's a really great way to build the mood and atmosphere, to develop characters, and to foreshadow plot points in the future, which is always awesome. It's so cool. It makes me feel like a detective. Here's an example. Your character is going to his grandmother's house, and it makes him feel uncomfortable. Her house is filled with old knickknacks, piles of books, and there's dust on everything. And it has the faint scent of cat litter. Used cat litter. Now, with building mood and atmosphere, you can definitely tell that this place is not welcoming at all. Not just to your character, but not to anyone. With developing character, you can instantly tell that this grandmother probably doesn't take care of herself, and she might be a hoarder, depending on how many books and knickknacks she has. You can also tell that your character and his grandmother probably don't have a really good relationship with each other. If he really doesn't want to visit her, despite everything that's going on in her house, they probably don't like each other. Oh well. Now, with foreshadowing plot points, say this grandmother's house is in a story where your character meets an evil villain and the evil villain's like, I'm going to destroy you, wahaha, and sends an evil creature of doom after your character, and the only way for your character to destroy this creature is to have a spell book with a spell in it that he needs to find. And it just so happens that within those huge piles of books in the grandmother's house, there's that exact spell book. What? Now, this definitely shows more character for the grandmother. It's like, why does she have this spell book? What's up with that, Grandma? And it's something that could lead into another story or to develop your story even further. But it will definitely show that it isn't a cop-out. Your character found a book in a place with lots of books. Not just the library, but his grandmother's house where there's old books. It's all musty in there. It's all dusty, right? It's going to make the finding of the spell book more genuine. It's not just, oh, it fell from the sky. What? This book actually exists in the world, and it's in a place where the character has been before. It makes the story more well-rounded. So how do you develop these aspects of location? What I do is write a list of all the locations in my book and which characters actually interact there. I usually have most of the outline of my story done at this point, or most of the first draft done. But you should get into the habit of writing down each location as it comes up and which characters are there at that time. It'll save you a lot of hassle in the end, and you can plan for the foreshadowing and all the events that happen there much more easier. Second, you want to think about what this location looks like and what it holds. If it's a creepy amusement park, you're going to have broken down rides. A lot of them will be rusted. You're going to have water rides that are broken. You know, you're not going to have something that's functional in a creepy old amusement park. And if something is functional in this park, you're going to have to explain why. Like, is it because of the ghost? Is it because of the demon? Is it because someone is actually fixing the amusement park to make it better? Who knows? Or what if your place is a well-kept, prestigious mansion? It will probably have old architecture, but not many cobwebs, since of course it's well-kept. For this part, you might hunt down picture examples on Google for inspiration. Pinterest also helps. Even if this place doesn't exist, like say a dragon's nest, you can still find inspiration. Just think, a dragon is a lizard, but it also flies like a bird. So you might look up images of both bird nests and reptile nests. And since it's a dragon we're talking about, look up movies that have pictures of dragon nests in there. You have the Dragonheart series, you have Aragon, you even have The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Smaug? Smog? Smaug or Smog?
While we were filming, it was decreed that it would be Smaug. And I don't know why.
Smaug. It's Smaug. So like The Hobbit and The Desolation of Smaug, there's tons of gold. For the character Smaug, you know that he's a hoarder of gold. How dare he keep all that gold? He's the top 1%, oh my gosh. But this is a good way to take inspiration, from others. And remember to not steal the inspiration, but take it and build something of your own. You want to make it your own. You don't want to be any other author except for you, right? Right? Good. The third thing is to think of what happens in these locations and think of how you can add more to them to build your mood and atmosphere, to develop characters, and to foreshadow those awesome plot points that you're going to have. An example from Loading Life is Grandmother Jay's store inside the city. Even though her store is in a bustling city, she has a more medieval feel about her. She has old books, she has potions, and it's very mysterious how a woman could have a store like this. It's like, ooh, hey. That mystery goes along with her psychic special ability, and it makes her character more peculiar than other people you see in the novel. It also gives good reason for Annie Mee to have potions later on when she's helping Hero out. She just didn't get them from anywhere, and she didn't make them herself. Another example comes from my current work in progress, where you have Lavanya and Kai's room in the guild hall. You can tell Lavanya has a passion for fashion just by looking in her closet. It is stuffed full with clothes and shoes. However, Kai is the exact opposite. She only has what she deems necessary. So very few clothes and very few personal objects on her side of the room. Now, one more thing before we go. The most vital part of a location is where it is compared to other locations in your novel. This is something that the Novel Factory does not go over, but it is so important. I have seen so many stories where you have character A is walking to the store from her house. In chapter 1, it takes 5 minutes. In chapter 9, it takes 30 minutes. And it's not like this character is being caught by evil villains or have to fight a thug or anything like that, or trips and almost dies or whatever. No, it just takes her 30 minutes instead of 5. Because logic. I cannot stress enough the necessity for consistency in your novel. Not just with your characters and how they act, not just with events, but with locations. The way I keep consistency is to take the notes I have on all the locations and to map them all out. For Loading Life, I divided up the city of Devi Omega into 5 sections. You have the north, the south, east, west, and the center of the city. I drew up that Hero Root's location for their secret hideout is on the far edge of the city in the south, whereas Modem Industries takes up most of the northern part of the city, mainly because it's a huge industrial place. Very big, very. So if one of my characters is going from the school to the hideout, it's going to take them a while. However, if they're going from the school to Modem Industries, it's going to take a long while. That's why in the book I have it written that they not only take a bus, but they also take a train of some sort to Modem Industries. So, it's a big difference. Very big. In this first book of the Nectaria series, I have the guild hall out in the country away from cities and all that because they want to keep it hidden. However, I still write down how long it takes Lavanya and Kai to get from guild hall to the uncle's house. Let's say Lavanya and Kai leave the guild hall at noon. They don't get to uncle's house in 15 minutes. No, it takes them a long time. Maybe an hour, depending on how far I want it away from the guild hall. But it takes them a pretty long while. And when you do map out locations, remember to map out how the location is set. If you have a house, where is your character's bedroom? If you have the guild hall, where's the training room? You don't just want to be like, and then they went this way for this thing. And then they went another way for the same thing. Because logic. And don't worry about having artistic skills or being an architect. All you have to do is draw boxes or circles or triangles or whatever on a piece of paper. So you have here is Heroes Hideout. Here is the school. Here is Modem Industries. Okay, that's awesome. Woohoo! With something like the guild hall. Here's the training room. Down the hallway, which is a long hallway, there are some places where people go to sleep. I think they're called bedrooms, I'm not too sure. And then you have an eating hall. Oh my goodness. Note that might not actually be the design of the guild hall, so yeah. I'm just saying, it might change. So that's it for locations, and I just want to tell you all that next week I'll actually be having a different kind of video, nothing to do with the mini-series. I'm still completing this mini-series, but since we're rolling into the last few episodes that have to do with actual drafts and final editing of everything, I can't have one each week, because that'd be weird, because I'll be like, this is the third draft, though I'm still in the first draft. So to take the time in between these few episodes, I'm going to do a few special videos that will help writers hopefully prepare for NaNoWriMo. Or at least will be awesome and fun. So I'm going to go eat because I am hungry, and I will see you all later, alligators. Bye-bye! Now, one last thing before we go. The most important thing... Shut up, stomach. Shut up! I'm hungry. I'm sorry.